Today, if you missed Zoom class or you just want to go back to the lesson, we are in lesson 12, determining the point of view. This is RS 6.6, determine an author's point of view or purpose in a text and explain how it's conveyed in the text. I want to go over a couple of things first before we get started. So we're kind of trying to determine what the author's point of view is and the purpose for writing the text. And you guys have had lessons on what the purpose for writing a text is, and I just want to remind you that we have pi. Could help you remember. Okay, an author could be writing to persuade. The author could be writing to inform, or the author could be writing to entertain. Okay, so I just wanted to remind you of the reasons that authors write. Did you ever read an article that tried to convince you to agree with the writer's ideas? If so, you may have noticed that certain words were chosen to appeal to your emotions. The writer may have made different choices if the text were meant to inform or entertain, for example. After all, content is shaped by the author's purpose or the main reason for writing. Content is also shaped by the author's point of view or feelings about a topic. The words and ideas used in the text provide important clues about an author's perspective. So in this picture below, what is each judge's point of view? So we're going to practice with point of view for just a moment. And I have a graphic organizer, and I wanted to remind you that you could also use this graphic organizer as a strategy when you do your weekly strategies and you're coming up with your own strategy. You could use this graphic organizer. Okay. So Judge 1, there's some athlete, and I just want to tell you our theme for this whole thing is extreme sports. So these are two judges for a sporting competition. And Judge 1, looking at the evidence, he gives a score of 10. He has a smile. He says perfect and bravo. He's got a very positive reaction to that athlete. So he thought the performance was wonderful. Judge 2, she has given a score of 2, which is low. She has like kind of a frown on her face, and she says, simply awful. That performance was flawed by sloppy technique. So those are the evidence pieces that show how she feels. She has a very negative take on that same performance, and she thought it was terrible. So recognizing an author's reason for writing and feelings about a topic can help you decide what to do with that information. Should you treat it as a simple set of facts? Will you agree with the author, or will you develop your own opinion? To determine the author's point of view, think about the words chosen, the opinions expressed, and the details given or left out. All are valuable clues to an author's purpose and point of view. Okay, so we're going to practice by reading 2 articles about ice climbing, and we're going to see what the author feels about that based off of evidence. So I'm going to kind of circle or underline evidence that helps me know how Melissa Thompson feels about climbing ice. Imagine facing an enormous frozen waterfall. You're at the bottom of this huge ice formation, staring up and thinking through the steps you'll take to climb it. Yes, it's dangerous, and that's part of the fun. So I feel like that's kind of an important sentence for her point of view. For adventure seekers, and I'm going to actually put adventure seekers, it seems like an important, strong language kinds of words. Ice climbing offers a physical challenge and a unique thrill. Physical challenge, unique thrill. It helps me develop, it helps me know what she's thinking and develop an idea of what her point of view is. The surface of ice varies greatly from one location to another, so an ice climber must be ready for any situation that could arise during a climb. One wrong step could lead to a deadly fall. Okay, well, that's a little negative. Yet, to enthusiasts, the risk seems small when compared to the reward of finally reaching the top. So risk seems small when compared to the reward of finally reaching the top. Speed competitions are for ice climbers who need more adventure than simply scaling a steep ice wall. So more adventure. These events offer the rush of danger coupled with the excitement of speed and competition. Okay, so what is this author's view about ice climbing? What words, phrases, or sentences reveal this viewpoint? So I underlined a lot of things that will help me. So thinking about, the author didn't directly state her opinion or attitude, but I can use a lot of this information that I underlined and fill out this graphic organizer and this chart here to help me figure out what her point of view is. Okay. So if I'm looking at the topic of ice climbing, I can point out, like I underline things like dangerous, unique thrill, physical challenge, deadly fall. And so those are all things, some of those are negative and some of those are positive. Okay. In the last paragraph, it talks about speed competitions, and she uses words like adventure, rush of danger, excitement of speed and competition. Those are also some positive and negative. But if I look back up here at the first paragraph, she gives me a really good clue to how she feels. She says, yes, it's dangerous, and that's part of the fun. So using all of this information, the positives and the negatives, and how she's using them together, I could kind of guess that she thinks that ice climbing is dangerous, but it's exciting. The danger is part of the excitement. Okay, it's the danger is what makes that sport exciting. So she thinks ice climbing is exciting, adventurous, and dangerous. And the danger makes it exciting. All right, so at the bottom it says, based on the details, describe the author's purpose for writing this essay. I would say that the author wrote this essay to inform readers inform about the excitement, thrill, and dangers potential dangers of ice climbing. All right. We're going to take a look at another article about the same topic and see if this author writes any differently or has a different opinion based on the information given. Okay, and whenever I have close reading, I like to pay attention to the close reading parts on the left. It says, consider the title and the words the author uses in the editorial's first paragraph. Circle words and phrases to help you understand the author's point of view. Okay, so worth the risk with a question mark. It sounds like just using the word risk is a little bit more negative. So I'm thinking Chris Lown so far started off kind of negative. Let's see what else he has to say. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of circle the words and the phrases that help me understand his point of view, or underline kind of risk. Ice climbing is a dangerous sport in which people attempt to climb frozen waterfalls and icy mountainsides. Training and proper equipment, along with protective clothing, are essential, but they are not enough to guarantee safety. Even experienced climbers continue to be injured and killed while participating in this high-risk sport. Do the thrills outweigh the risks? When an ice climber is buried under an avalanche, emergency responders are dispatched at great expense to the community. If, by luck, the climber survives, it may take months or even years for him to recover. Are such costs worth a few hours of excitement? Oh, wow. So I'm thinking that this author, unlike the last author, she thought it was dangerous and exciting. He thinks it's dangerous and not worth the risk. Okay, so let's look at our question. What is Chris Law's point of view about ice climbing? A says he admires the bravery of people who participate in the sport. Definitely not, based on the things that we circled up here. He strongly encourages people to get proper equipment and training before trying ice climbing. Well, he does talk about training and proper equipment and protective clothing, but he says they're not enough, and he does not encourage anybody to try ice climbing. He questions the wisdom of people who think the thrill of ice climbing is worth the dangers. He definitely does that. He downplays the high cost and serious risk of the sport. Well, I would say that he upplays it. He makes it very well known that he thinks is very dangerous. Okay, so using all of these things, like he used the word dangerous, not enough to guarantee safety, and really strong verbs and adjectives in here, like injured, killed, buried, and adjectives like high risk and great expense, dangerous. Those are all help me know that he questions the wisdom of people who think the thrill of ice climbing is worth the dangers. Okay, so do you see how authors, he didn't come right out and say exactly I feel this way about ice climbing, but using the information that he gives you and the adjectives and the verbs that he's using, it helps you understand how he feels about ice climbing. Okay, for your assignment today, you're going to fill out the Google form. You're going to read just for the thrill of it and also answer the 3 questions. Don't forget, use the close reading on the left. To help me understand the author's point of view, I'm going to pause at the end of each paragraph and restate it in my own words. If you do that, it will help you a lot. It's a really good skill to help you. And then you'll answer the 3 questions. Don't forget, number 3 needs complete sentences. Include at least 2 details from the essay to get full credit. And then you're going to read about kite surfing called Flying Above the Water. And that has 7 paragraphs on it. And so read about kite surfing and then answer 5 questions that have to do with the author's point of view and the purpose for writing. And then on number 5, it's going to ask you to, it talks about how the author's enthusiastic about kite surfing, but also wants readers to know what they're getting into. What are some of the details to help them achieve this goal? So I want you to make sure that you're answering that question, that he wants readers to know what they're getting into. What are those details? Okay. All right. Please let me know if you have any questions, and happy reading.